If you're planning to sell a luxury home in 2026, there are three mistakes I'm seeing sellers make over and over again. And in some cases, these mistakes are costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. But before we jump in, if we haven't met yet, hi, my name's Rachel Oswalt. I'm an EXP luxury certified real estate agent here on Whidbey Island, and I love helping buyers and sellers navigate the luxury market here. If you ever have questions about buying or selling in the area, all of my contact info is in the description below. Now, let's talk about three mistakes luxury sellers are making right now. And the tricky part about these mistakes is that most sellers think they're actually doing the right thing. Luxury real estate behaves very differently from traditional home sales. The buyer pool is smaller, expectations are higher, and the strategy behind how a property is positioned in the market matters significantly more. So, if you're thinking about selling a luxury home, these are three things you definitely want to avoid. Let's start with the first one. The first mistake luxury sellers make is pricing based on emotion instead of strategy. I see this happen all the time. A seller will say something like, "Our home is nicer than the one that sold down the street, so we should list for 300,000 more." And while that perspective is completely understandable as a homeowner, luxury buyers tend to approach things very differently. They're not just buying a home, they're evaluating value, lifestyle, and how the property compares to other opportunities in that price range. Here's something many sellers don't realize. The higher the price point of a home, the smaller the buyer pool becomes. When you're selling in the luxury market, you're not marketing to hundreds of potential buyers. In many cases, you're marketing to a very small group of people who both have the financial ability and the lifestyle desires for that particular property. So, when a luxury home is priced even slightly too high, it doesn't just sit on the market longer, it becomes invisible to the right buyers. Buyers searching in that price range simply move on to the next property that feels like a better value. And once a luxury listing sits on the market for too long, the perception of the home starts to shift. Buyers begin wondering what's wrong with it. And at that point, the negotiation power usually moves to the buyer's side. The goal with luxury pricing isn't to test the market, it's to position the property strategically from the very beginning. Now, let's talk about the second mistake I see luxury sellers making in 2026: underestimating the importance of marketing. A lot of sellers assume putting their home on the MLS and major real estate websites will be enough to attract the right buyer. For the typical home, that might work, but luxury properties require a much more intentional marketing strategy because luxury homes don't sell from exposure alone. They sell from story. The highest performing luxury listings today focus heavily on presentation and lifestyle marketing. That includes cinematic video, high-end photography, and digital marketing designed to reach buyers outside of the immediate local area. And this is especially important because many luxury buyers aren't necessarily searching in the same way traditional buyers are. They might be relocating, purchasing a second home, or making a lifestyle move. Which means if your marketing strategy only reaches buyers who are actively searching locally, you could be missing the exact person who would fall in love with your home. In the luxury market, the right buyer is often just one person. So the strategy becomes making sure that person actually sees the property and understands the lifestyle it offers. Now, the third mistake luxury sellers make is assuming buyers will overlook small issues. Luxury buyers tend to have very high expectations when they walk into a home. They're not just evaluating the square footage or location, they're evaluating the entire experience of the property. That means things like fresh paint, updated lighting, landscaping, staging, and addressing small maintenance items can make a huge difference in how a property is perceived. I've seen situations where relatively small improvements made before listing dramatically increased the perceived value of the property. Sometimes a $20,000 improvement can lead to a much stronger offer simply because the home presents at the level the buyers expect. In the luxury market, details matter, and buyers notice everything. That's why selling a luxury property requires a very different approach than selling a traditional home. It's not just about putting a sign in the yard or listing the home online. It's about pricing, strategy, presentation, and making sure the right buyers actually see the property. If you're considering selling a luxury home on Whidbey Island and you want to talk through what a strategy like this might look like for your property, I would be happy to connect. Again, my name is Rachel Oswalt. I'm a real estate agent here on Whidbey Island, and you can find my contact information in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe because I'll also be sharing more insights about the luxury market and what buyers are really looking for right now. See you next time.